Hey everybody, welcome to Vidal Speaks Blog Wednesday. Today I wanted to do a video to tell you about a really special product that I've used for a long while, off and on. More off than on, I just have used it occasionally when I felt like I needed it, but recently I used it and I thought, wow, I got to really tell my listeners about this product. So normally you guys hear me speak a lot about homeopathy, and occasionally I use herbs, but I love homeopathy because homeopathy is kind of a form of energy medicine, and with herbs you really do have to be careful because herbs are substance, whereas homeopathic, you can take a very toxic substance and make it into a remedy, and you're getting the kind of energetic footprint of that remedy. And it's so great for old people or pregnant women or babies or animals, and you don't have to be as careful as, say, like an herb, because an herb is actual nature's medicine in its pure form, and it can have contraindications with other medications that you take or even other herbs. Not homeopathy, but generally other herbs. So I'm always a lot more careful to talk about herbs with people because you really do need to know what you're doing. But I want to just tell you about this product, this herb. It's not a product, it's actually an herb, one herb. And I want you guys to listen with open ears, but I also want you to know is with everything I say, I'm always going to say, just take it with caution. I'm not telling you to take it. I'm telling you what I did with it. And if you're on any medications or have any health conditions, you do have to be careful, more careful than someone who's not. So when I tell you guys about an herb, a remedy, or some other natural health, whether it's a recipe or a spice or a product or something like this, these are all things that I want to do to just give you tools to put in your wellness box to help you not have to go to a doctor or just to waste money on buying a bunch of stuff that doesn't work or trying things without ever having any experience. So I hope I can be the person that can guide you along, and at least through my own experience you can learn. And this is what I do in the VS Club. So if you guys haven't joined, I have a really good special going, $10 a month. Come on, that's like the price of one fast food meal or a cup of coffee. So $10 a month, and I'm teaching all the people in there. They're loving it, and I'm teaching already. We've learned how to handle infections and boost our immune system. And last week I talked about glaucoma and remedies that we can take for glaucoma and for stones and things like this, and that's what made me want to talk about this herb today. So if you guys are interested in learning more of the stuff that you're going to learn here, except I do like 1 hour live sessions, and lately because of the quarantine I've been doing a couple hours a week. So for $10 a month, come on you guys, join please. It's so fun to have all these people in there and be teaching and to see everyone excited learning how to do this stuff, and I want you to be part of it. So join, because the price is not going to stay there for very much longer, so I really want you to join while you can. Okay, so the name of the herb, it's a Peruvian herb. Well, it's actually, I thought it was from the Amazon. It's an Amazonian herb, but it's called Chancapiedra. Can you see that? Chancapiedra. Chancapiedra. I have to practice my accent. And I just use this brand because I found it a long time ago. It was 800 milligrams for one pill. I like that. And if you can see at the bottom under the name of it, it says Stone Breaker. Do you see that? So I found it when I had a kidney stone, and I only had a kidney stone one time, and I had it on the right side, and I had really horrible pains in the middle of the night. I woke up and I was kind of nauseous and I had pain, and it's right in the area where you would think either kidney stone. I said, either this is a kidney stone, or because your kidneys are back here on your back. But when you have a kidney stone, it often you feel it coming around. So I felt it kind of more in my inguinal area here on my right side. And that's a very common area where if you have appendicitis, you're going to have pain. So because it was on my right side, I didn't know if I was having appendicitis or a kidney stone. And if you have appendicitis and it ruptures and then you go into sepsis, it's really dangerous. So that's just why it's good to get a diagnosis, right? So I wasn't exactly sure. I started taking some remedies and I wasn't exactly sure which kind of remedies to take because appendicitis and kidney stone would need different remedies. So first you want to think like, why would I have appendicitis? But then I was thinking, why would I have a kidney stone? But kidney stone's a little bit more common and would make more sense to me because it was a day that I was teaching golf, and I sometimes get so busy doing and loving helping people that I don't think to drink, and it was super hot out, 100 degrees, and I wasn't drinking at all, and I was completely dehydrated, and this is one of the causes of kidney stone. So anyway, I tried some remedies, and I was doing more remedies like for appendicitis, I wasn't doing any remedies for kidney stones. And when it wasn't getting better and I was like, like moaning, I thought, oh gosh, I guess I have to go to the hospital. And that's really the worst feeling in the whole world for many reasons. Sadly, one of the thoughts that I think most people have that aren't in dire straits of like an acute emergency, the first thought you think is, I can't go to the hospital because I can't afford it. I don't want to get 3 months of bills and all these expenses, right? And although I had insurance, you know how insurance works. Your out of pocket is $6,000, and when you go to the hospital, that's what you're going to pay. Because even if it's $100,000 or $20,000, my part's $6,000, and walking out that door and getting in the car means that that's what you're going to have to come up with. So of course nobody wants to go. And that's so sad it has to be that way, because it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to go in and get a simple test. A kidney stone test is easy. They either do a little ultrasound, which is the least invasive, or a CAT scan, which is more invasive because of the radiation. And they would know immediately, and then I don't understand. So anyway, I went to the hospital. I went to Cedars, and then they wanted to do a CAT scan. I was kind of arguing with them because I wanted to do an ultrasound. But then they were kind of saying, you're going to have to wait. We don't have a machine. It's going to take 2 hours. And so then I just said, whatever, do a CAT scan. So they just did a CAT scan, and then they said, yep, you have a kidney stone, but you're dehydrated, because they took some blood. So you're really dehydrated. And thankfully, I had a really nice nurse. There was one that was not so nice, because I was like kind of moaning, and she's like, can you please keep it down? And I'm like, have you had a kidney stone before? A lot of people say it's like having a baby, and then she's telling me to keep it down. I'm like, how about where's the medication, and how about where's your nice treatment? But this one nurse, when they switched shifts, came in, and she was super nice, and she was a vegetarian, and she told me, that's really rare, you had a kidney stone if you're a vegan, but I just want you to know, I looked at your blood work, and it's because you're dehydrated. And I said, geez, so I'm not good at drinking. I really need to do that. But at the same time, this was many years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but it was about the time I started drinking distilled water. And I think what happened is, when you start drinking distilled water, it's a kind of detoxifier. And now I'm no longer drinking all that calcium, rock calcium from other water, even spring water. So I think it was my body's transition of trying to get the minerals, out that were like too much calcium from drinking all the natural spring water. And to me, it was too much of a coincidence that it happened at the same time that I switched over. Since that time, I've had no problems, never had another one. But anyways, then, what do? They just basically put you on a morphine drip like that. And I had brought my homeopathic kit with me, of course, to the ER. And then I started taking, as soon as I knew, I started taking 2 remedies. One was Lycopodium 200, and one was Berberis, which is a very good kidney remedy. And I just kind of alternated them. and I didn't have my cups in the water, so I just put a few pellets on my tongue. And thankfully I did, because the nurse came in and said, we can't keep you in an emergency room only because you're in pain. And I'm like, what? You're going to send me home and I'm passing a kidney stone? But they did. They didn't want to keep me there, so no problem. So I got home and I took another dose of my lycopodium, and after that second dose, they give you like a little screen to pee in, and after I peed the next time, I could see all the granules of the kidney stone come out, and my pain was gone, and it was instantly over. How about that? But after that incident, I decided that I never want to go through that again, because guess what my bill was for that? I think I was there less than an hour, and my hospital bill was $23,000. $23,000. And yeah, I had to fight it a bit, because I guess the hospital that I went to wasn't in the policy of the insurance that I had. But apparently when you're in emergency, then it doesn't matter. So in the end, but I still had to pay my $6,800 for that visit. It's such a joke the way the United States insurance works, really. So this is why I want to teach you guys everything I know, so you don't have to waste your money on treatments like that. Because had I known it was a kidney stone, then I could have taken the lycopodium and berberis, and I probably should have waited, but the pain was getting worse, and I was feeling like it was appendicitis and needed to be sure. And I figured all I needed is a little test. And what's it going to cost me? $1,000? But I was wrong. So after that incident, I did some research and I found the Chanca piedra. And I also interviewed a guy. You can listen. His name is Greg Caton. Amazing story this guy has. You guys should watch it's a double series, a 2 podcast. It's Greg Caton, and he tells his whole story, but he lives in Ecuador, and he went to prison for inventing a black salve cream that removes cancer from the skin. But anyways, we had talked about a lot of Amazonian herbs, and this was one of them. But Chanca piedra is known as the stone breaker to the people in the Amazon, because it has the ability to pass stones. And I've given it to many people, and you can even read reviews, but I've had my brother's taken it, my brother-in-law has taken it. I took it for some months after that just to be safe, but you can read many stories about people who take this herb to get, and it's not really just kidney stones, it's all kinds of stones, because stones are usually made of either like bile, like gallstones, like hardened bile, or calcium oxalate stones in the kidney, and then you can have like tonsil stones and saliva gland stones. And that's why I found this week, because Lloyd has been having a saliva gland that was swollen, and first we were trying to drain it because I was thinking it was an infection, and then it didn't go down. But then we went to the doctor, and he said we'd have to take it out and do a biopsy. In order to do that, they have to do like a facelift scar and kind of move your ear and go in. And we're like, okay, no, that won't be happening. So we went to, but when you have a gland problem, it could be cancer. So that's why it's always best to go. But we ended up not even doing the MRI when we knew he would have to do a biopsy. So then we went to our acupuncture doctor, Dr. Lee, who's a miracle doctor, and he treated it and it went down. But he started constantly having dry mouth, and he still had a swollen gland that would come up and down, but it never got big like it did before. And then the other day, he said, what's wrong with, I was giving him, to help with this gland a month ago, I was giving him a homeopathic remedy because he was bothered by dry mouth in this gland. So I thought I would work on it with homeopathy. And I did. And after 3 weeks of taking this remedy, he started feeling like all kinds of problems inside his mouth. And then he said, can you see what's going on? Because my mouth is sore. And I looked under his tongue, and he had right under the base of your tongue, here, you have these 2 glands. They're called your sublingual glands. And one was really big on the same side as the swollen gland, and it had kind of like an ulcer. And then he had like red all over, and it looked sore. I could tell his mouth was sore. So I said, that's so weird that's like it's swollen there. And he's like, yeah, I think whatever that is blocking my saliva. And I said, well, then you must have a stone, because it's either like a tumor of the gland, which it's not because it was here, but a tumor of that gland, or a stone. So I said, you must have a stone. So then I put him on a homeopathic, I changed his protocol from treating the gland, but I think that protocol I gave him helped him move the stone along the way, and now it was right there. And so now I needed a remedy to pull it out. So I gave him Heparsulf and a couple other remedies, and I wanted him to pull it out. And then I said, let's add Chancapiedra, because Chancapiedra is for breaking down a stone, and you have a stone. So let's take, instead of 1 a day, let's take 2-3 times a day. So he did. He took 2-3 times a day, and he took the 3 remedies that I gave him. It was Heparsulf 6C, mercury, nitric acid 6C, and Thuya 30C. And not all together, just separate bottles is how I did it. And things started moving within a few days. All his mouth was not sore anymore. And he said, is it my imagination, but my stone is getting smaller. And that was, I don't know, we had made an appointment for a doctor because he didn't believe it was going to come out. And then we canceled the doctor's appointment because it was so small. It's just tiny, and now it's like a sliver there and almost finished. It's 95% gone. And all we did was those 3 remedies and Chancapiedra. So it's really a great herb to know, because for kidney stones, they're so painful, you guys. And if you know anybody that gets recurring kidney stones, tell them about this product. And please tell them to use the Vidal Speaks Amazon banner. I need to put this on my site. Maybe it's there now under my Amazon store. Not to buy, but you can click there and then it takes you right to the product. Because those Amazon products under my Vidal Speaks store, those are like my favorite products, and this is one of my favorite products, but I don't know if it's up there, so I need to do that. But in case it's not, please use my Vidal Speaks Amazon banner right on my homepage, right under the banner photo on my website. You'll see the little Amazon banner, and just where it says click here, just click there and it'll take you right to the Amazon store, and then just type in Chancapiedra Stonebreaker, and mine brand of the one I made is natural, I don't know, looks like Isimo Life, but you can kind of see the label, so you get the idea of the picture. So get some of this stuff and keep it at home. But I want to tell you, before I let you go, I want to tell you a few more things. It's really amazing for the liver, so I decided I'm going to start taking it now because it supports the kidney. So let me read to you. So here's the main actions. It expels stones, supports kidneys, increases urination, relieves pain, protects the liver, detoxifies the liver, reduces spasms, reduces inflammation, kills viruses, clears obstructions, aids digestion, reduces blood sugar, lowers blood pressure, and lowers cholesterol. And honestly, you guys, and it says other actions, it treats malaria, it kills bacteria, it prevents mutation, it reduces fever, it's a mild laxative, and it expels worms. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know it sounds like too good to be true, but with this problem with Lloyd, I started really doing a lot of research about this, and I'm reading in a book all about Amazonian herbs, and they have like 4 or 5 pages on it. And I just want to read just a couple things, because first of all, I became very interested in it because I'm working hard on my liver. And this is what I was talking about in the VS Club when we were talking about eyes. We were talking about different eyes problems, but mostly we were talking about glaucoma. And so I work hard on my liver because there's a connection there. And it says that research suggests that Chancapiedra can protect, detoxify, and even regenerate the liver. So this is an herb that I really became more interested in when I learned that, because I was thinking of it more for the kidneys, for the kidneys and the kidney stones and just helping the urination. And, you know, by the way, when Gerson therapy begins working with a patient, they put them on their diet, and they have to take certain, there's a lot of supplements they take. This is not one of them. But one of the things when people who have cancer start the Gerson therapy that they see is they start excreting out a lot of sodium from their urine. And they're not allowed to have any salt in that diet at all, right? And one of the things that most patients I've talked to say it's crazy how much salt comes out of their urine, and they have a certain smell to their urine. And I read here that this removes all the sodium. And you know, sodium has a direct relationship to potassium, and in the Gerson therapy, they give them potassium. So I imagine they're giving them potassium, which is helping push out the sodium. And then, you know, calcium has a relationship to magnesium, right? These are our 4 life minerals. And so I think when I read in here that it pushes out a lot of the sodium, I think that's such a great thing. So, but what do you think of, what disease do we know that has a problem with sodium? Hypertension, right? And this is what I was reading today, but I never want to recommend anyone to go try it, because people are on all these drugs for hypertension, and you can't just go take an herb and keep your drugs. So you kind of need to work with someone who would be willing, when you start something like this, to take your medication down. Otherwise, you're taking 2 things to bring it down, and you could get in trouble. But I just want to tell you that. And you know, when we start talking about how, so it says Chanca Piedra has demonstrated the ability to reduce cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar, as well as increasing urination. This research in animals helps validate its uses in herbal medicine for hypertension, diabetes, and high cholesterol. So it really has, I know it almost seems too good to be true, but where I really wanted to focus on was for the liver and the kidneys, and it's antiviral and antibacterial, but especially right now with the pandemic going around, because I'm always afraid to say any word here so my video doesn't get booted off. But so yeah, I have to be careful what I say. But it says one thing that was super amazing when I was reading was right here. It says over 20 clinical studies have been published to date about Chanca Piedra's antiviral effects against hepatitis, and other studies indicate antiviral actions against the HIV virus. And do you know what kind of virus that is? That's a retrovirus, and they're horrible viruses. That's in the same family as the one that's called ME. I won't even attempt to say it, but it's a long word, and it's that one where it's also known as like chronic fatigue syndrome, but it's a terrible, retroviruses are horrible, and it has been studied for that. So imagine the strength of an antiviral. So in this time that we're living in right now of fear, and many people worried, and you know, you shouldn't be that worried if you're eating a clean vegan diet and you're working on cleaning and detoxifying your system all the time, and you don't take high blood pressure medications, and you don't have type 2 diabetes, because those are all the factors, especially high blood pressure, because they put you on ACE inhibitor drugs, and the virus of, you know, the pandemic virus, it attacks your ACE2 receptors, and so these are the people that are getting affected the fastest and the most. But I mean, what a great product to take for all of us, just to be taking it. So how would you take it? People, I always want to say, how would you take it? Well, remember, it's an herb, it's not a remedy. So how I would take it is I'll probably just take 1 a day, and I'll probably do that for a few months, and then I'll give my liver a rest, and I'll give my body a rest. And I'll always add other things, like I'll add a homeopathic liver remedy, maybe chelidonium or maybe Cardus marianus, and I'll add that. And then I'll add a gemo, maybe like juniperus. And these are all stuff that I teach in the VS Club, you guys. So join. They're all easy things, and you can learn. It's so easy, and it's so powerful to fix yourself, to be able to clean your organs and keep yourself healthy. So, but I'd probably do that. And then I have a more focused liver cleanse. So, but that's what I'm going to do it for. And then that way, if I were to have any gallstones or any kidney stones that were building up, it would take care of that at the same time. So I'm protecting myself from the virus. It's also saying that it's really helpful for people with bronchitis and chronic bronchitis because it's antiviral, antibacterial, right? It helps my kidneys, helps remove stones. Yeah, it's so amazing. There's so much research. This drug is, not this drug, but this herb is really used almost, like a drug in the Amazonian with the native people there because it has been around a really long time. And this is not a combination. This is purely just this herb. So with that, I'm going to let you go and say I hope you learned something today. Get yourself some of this, and please be sure to use the Vidal Speaks banner to buy yourself a bottle of this stuff, because even if you don't want to take it now, believe me, you don't want to wait till you have a stone. And we've seen it working with Lloyd. In addition, I know he also took the remedies, and it's hard to know what's doing what. But since this is called Stonebreaker, I know that at least it's helping him reduce the stone or get it out. And maybe the remedies are doing all the healing in the mouth and also working with it to pull it out. It doesn't really matter which one works. Just go away, stone, right? All right, you guys. I love you guys. And happy Wednesday, and I hope you learned something today. And don't forget, join the VS Club right now. It'll never be this low again, I promise. All right, you guys, I love you. Bye.